Let's bring in Bernard Zapor, former ATF Special Agent in Charge. He's now a faculty associate at Arizona State University School of Criminology and Criminal Justice. There are a number of ways I could go with this interview, but I think the smartest thing to do for the layman is to step back and ask you bluntly what happened in this circumstance, because it seems almost inexplicable that that would be the tack that they would take at the time. And yet, you're the experienced person. Walk me through it. What could they have been thinking?
Well, Kevin, the doctrine surrounding active shooters changed completely in 1998 with the Columbine shooting. The aftermath of that showed that these things, they can't wait for a tactical resource or a response team, that the first officer on the scene engages a suspect, because these things only result in death to the gunman or surrender of the gunman, period. In 2005, at the Red Lake Indian Nation in Minnesota, there was a large school shooting there, and the officers deployed, they came in line, 1, 2, 3, 4, each officer engaging the suspect, and they stopped him as he was breaching a cafeteria that had about another 40 children in there. At least 11 people got killed there, but there was at least 40 children and another, I think, 7 adults that were barricaded in a cafeteria, and he was trying to get in. The responding officers, they didn't wait for the 4 of them to come together as a team. The first one there was in a firefight, when the second one, the third one, and fourthly, until they finally put him down. It was a great example of the fact that an active shooter, the only resolution is a combative event. So that's the difficulty in understanding the decision-making here.
I want to share for the folks at home sort of a TikTok of the 911 calls, and I share this only because, again, I'm trying, like so many other Americans, to understand how this would play out in real time. And it's easy for me here in the comfort and security of a studio to sort of second guess our Monday morning quarterback, which I'm not trying to do. But what I'm trying to do, Bernard, is understand when you're getting call after call after call. We're seeing the timeline now of these 911 calls, how this doesn't elevate the attack or the approach. And based on everything that you know, and I understand this was also multi-agency, multi-jurisdictional. You have a number of agencies on the ground. Is that fair to say as well? Could that perhaps have been a reason for a delay?
You know, if you keep the tactic very simple and pure, and I have to mention Commander Sid Heel from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, who recently passed away. He's the architect of most contemporary police tactical training and procedure, including the response to active shooters. Is irrelevant of who's on the scene, you go to the fight. You have no choice other to engage the suspect. The command and control of the situation, the management of the situation, including the care of the victims, in contemporary policing now, is you're actually ignoring the wounded because you have to stop the gunman. That's precedent above all, and that would supersede or stop any confusion about multiple jurisdiction or communication issues, because until the shooting stops, there is no other pressing issue than that.
No question, in particular with so many vulnerable children and a pair of teachers also succumbing to their injuries following this disaster. In the 20 seconds that we have left, if there's one takeaway that you'd like folks at home to understand, they'll see this story, they'll hear our conversation. What do you want their takeaway to be as they try to make sense of what happened over in Texas?
I would say give your children a hug and thank God for them first, and pray for these families. And secondly, that we expect that all of our communities, our law enforcement agencies, our behavioral health organizations work towards a solution of making schools safe, making our large community centers safe, and expecting that this type of thing could happen and we respond accordingly.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Bernard, thank you so much. Bernard Zapor joining us from the Valley over there in Tempe. Thank you again, my friend. We appreciate it. Arthel?